Yeah, good day and welcome to my video series on forest inventory. In this video, I will be explaining to us the process of forest inventory planning, how to plan for a forest inventory exercise. That is what I will be explaining in this video. I, I know as we go ahead and as you pay attention, at the end of this video, you would have acquainted yourself with what you need to be able to plan an inventory exercise successfully. Planning is a very crucial step that should be taken before embarking on any forest inventory exercise. The process of planning, of course, requires that you will think through the entire inventory process and make all arrangements necessary to ensure the success of the exercise. So you will have to sit down and think through all that will be required for the inventory exercise. Failure to plan is planning to fail. If you embark on an inventory exercise without proper planning, you will end up wasting time, you will end up wasting money, you will end up wasting resources, and the whole exercise may end up becoming a failure. So in order to avoid all that, you must sit down and plan properly. So let's go through the steps that are required for forest inventory planning. The first thing to do in planning for an inventory exercise is to state the purpose of the inventory. You must be clear in your mind. Why do you want to embark on this inventory? What is the goal? What do you really have in mind? What do you want to achieve by it? So in thinking about the purpose, you must state clearly what are the variables to be estimated. What do you need from that inventory exercise? Is it merchantable volume of the standing trees there? Or is it total volume? Or is it biomass estimate you need? Or do you want to estimate the amount of carbon stock in the forest area? You have to exactly know why you are carrying out the inventory and what variables you hope to estimate from the exercise. And then the next thing you also need to consider is how the inventory information will be used. Will it be used for, let's say, planning for harvests or allocation of the concessional areas to timber contractors for felling? Or will it be used just to say, okay, we have knowledge of our carbon stock for the purpose of carbon trading? You have to determine ahead of time what will the information be used for, because that is actually what will help you to know what to do when you get to the field. The next thing is you need to gather all available background information about the area you want to inventory, about the forest area you want to conduct your inventory at. All background information must be acquired. You have to check, has there been inventory done in that area before? If there are, where are the reports? Can we go through it and see what they have written in the reports? Where are the maps? So you need to look for the maps of the place. Are there satellite images available for the place? And Google Earth, for example, is a very, very good thing. If you have an idea of the coordinate of the location of that forest area, it's good to check Google Earth, see how the forest layout is right from the Google Earth. So all this will help you as part of the planning process. If you go through past reports of the inventory exercise, you may realize that, from the reports, there are some problems encountered in previous exercise, which would have been written in that former report, and that will help you and guide you properly. Also, looking through the maps, you will say, okay, there is a river there, there is this bridge there, or there is a camping site nearby, or there is not. All those information will help you in proper planning. Now, the next thing is you look at the individual organization supporting the inventory. You must be sure of that. Is this inventory maybe part of just a student's research work, or is it funded by a donor agency, or is it the government that has commissioned it, or a private timber contractor? You need to be sure of that. And then reconnaissance survey of the area. Yes, this is very, very important. You need to take a trip to the forest area just on a reconnaissance visit. That is just on the spot, having an on the spot overview of the whole area. Just drive through the area, get down and walk through the forest. Just have a feel of what the place is like. This inventory exercise, this reconnaissance survey is very, very important. Usually in in some of the inventory exercises I've been involved in, there's always what we call an advanced team that we will send ahead. And the advanced team will go look at the condition of the forest. Is there water source for the team when they come to camp there? Is there a place to camp there? Or is there a nearby community where they can camp? All those things, the reconnaissance survey will help you to do that. And of course, part of what you also do during that is, are there communities around that you need to talk to and engage so that you sensitize them in order to ensure that there won't be problem when you come for the exercise. So all these are part of things you will consider in planning an inventory exercise. And then, of course, you obtain information on the time and fund available. How much time is required for this exercise to be done? Oh, the client wants the report in 3 months' time or in 6 months' time. Or this inventory will last for 2 years. You have to be sure of the duration, the time available. And then the funding available also. You need to consider that. That's the budget, because that will help you to determine, okay, how many days the team can spend on the field, how many people you can have on the team. All those are very, very important. Then what amount of fund is available for the entire exercise is important, because you may need to procure some equipment, so you need to know how much fund you have available. So all those things are part of what you should consider. And then you should make a sketch, describe the area to be inventoried, the location, the size of the forest, and you will get this from previous reports or existing maps of the place. Then the terrain, nature of the terrain and accessibility, also the nearness to existing municipal facilities, and general characteristics and conditions of the forest area. This is very important. When you put all this down, it helps you to know that, okay, the nearest place to the forest where we want to survey, it will take us 1 hour to get to the plots, or or we can take just 30 minutes, or no, the place is so far it will take 2 hours. All these are things you put down properly, so that when the team comes, they know what to do, they know what exactly is involved. And then the next thing is, you have to make an outline of the information you will require in the final report. What are the kind of tables and graphs you want to have? What are the kinds of maps and sketches or pictures you need? So you need to do that at the planning stage, because if you don't, you will get to the field and come back after the inventory exercise, and during report writing, you will now realize that, oh, I need this picture to convey a message in the report. But of course, since you didn't plan for it, you didn't take such pictures on the field, and then you don't have it. Or, oh, I will need this kind of information in tabular form. But if you have not prepared for it, maybe you have omitted the information during the data collection exercise. So all these are things you should prepare. So you should have that outline of the inventory report. What and what sections, will be there in the report, and what will it contain. So just have a sketch, an outline kind of, or table of contents, detailed table of contents of the final report. That's part of planning. And then, of course, you also consider the logistics available for the inventory exercise in terms of lodging or accommodation facilities, transportation arrangements, feeding arrangements, general supplies, of, say, first aid, water, and so on, including generator for electricity supply. Then equipment available for inventory, that's the type and quantity. For example, how many tapes do you have? How many diameter tapes? How many linear tapes? What do you have to measure height? Do you have spigoreloscope or Haga altimeter or some other forms of equipment like criterion or true pulse and so on and so forth? So you have to list all these things. And why this is important is that if you don't plan for this properly and you just carry people with you to the field for inventory exercise, you will get there and the team will meet with a lot of frustrations. Imagine people coming back from the forest to the camp and they don't have water to take their bath. Imagine there is no adequate arrangement made for food. An individual have to now be going to neighboring community to ask, please, is there a place where we can buy food here and so on. It will affect the work adversely. So you must plan for all this ahead of time. Then you should also prepare the inventory design. That is, considering the population to be surveyed or to be inventory, what is the sample size you will need? So you need to determine that. What's the level of precision you need? What's the sampling intensity you need? What will be the shape of your plots? Will they be circular plots, or will they be square plots or rectangular plots? Then what sampling technique are you going to use? Will it be simple random sampling technique or stratified random sampling technique? Will there be some clustering used, or will it be multi-stage sampling technique? Whatever sampling technique it is, or will it even be systematic sampling? You should be able to plan all that during at the planning stage, because that is what will inform the kind of instruction you will give to the team by the time they get to the field. And then you need to break the entire work into phases and decide on the time and cost for each phase. You need to do that, determine the time and cost for the various phases of the work. And then you should prepare a field manual. This is very, very important. And why this is important is you as a team leader, assuming you are working in more than one team, it means you can't be in the same place. You can't be in all the teams at the same time. So you need to be sure that what each team is doing is the same across board. And so that's the need for the field manual. So the field manual will state the detailed procedure on how to locate and establish the sample plots. It will specify in details the variables to be measured and how to measure them. For example, you say, okay, measure diameter at breast height. It's not enough to just say measure diameter at breast height. You will indicate that diameter at breast height is the diameter at 1.3 meter above ground. You need to specify that. If you say, you don't just say, oh, measure stump diameter, you need to indicate where that diameter is to be measured. Because when you say stump diameter, it may mean different things to different people in terms of where the position. Somebody may measure stump diameter right on the ground. Another person may measure it just at 30 cm, of the tree. Another person may measure it at 45 cm. Another person may measure it at above buttress, So you need to specify exactly what should be done. And then you should also list other information to be collected by the crew. For example, you want GPS coordinates, or will there be some soil sampling work to be done such that they will need to collect soil samples? You need to specify all that in the field manual. And then you provide detailed information on the composition and duties of the crew members. There will be more than one person on the team, and you need to define what each member of the team will do. Who are those that will be in charge of cutting? What is their assignment? Who are those that will be in charge of enumeration? What will be their assignment? Who are those to form the service crew? What will be their assignment? So you state what each of the crews should do, their duties. It must be specified. If not, they will get to the field and each person will be looking. They will be wondering who is to do this, who is to do that. Okay, maybe somebody else will do it, somebody else will do it. and the work will not get done. So you need to specify. And then you design the field data collection forms. This is another very important aspect. If the teams go to the field without going with field data collection forms, it is possible that they will omit some variables that are important to measure and they will forget to measure them. But if there are well-designed field data collection forms, such mistakes will not happen. Why? Because the forms already indicate cells to be filled. And so when they are collecting the data, they are entering the data on the field. If there is a place that is still blank on the form, they will know, I've not yet done this one, I've not collected this variable. I've not measured this variable. So that will help them to remember to measure everything to be measured. It's important, like I've said, to design and use field forms. Very, very important for uniformity. No matter, even if you are working with 4 teams, 10 teams, if they have the forms, you can be sure all of them will do the same thing in the various plots they are enumerating. So on the screen here is an example of a forest inventory field form. This one, you see the state, name of the state, the local government area, the nearest community to the forest you are inventorying, then in what ecological zone is it, what's the cluster number in case you are using clusters, there was a plot number because each plot you enumerate will have a specific number. Then what is the coordinates at the starting point of the plot, usually at the southwest corner of the plot. So what's the latitude, what's the longitude, and what's the altitude? All this information on coordinates and altitude you can obtain with the GPS unit. Then what's the slope? And simple Sonto will give you the slope. You can have slope with that. Also, what is the topographic position? So all these are things, and by topographic position, they are talking of, is the place uphill? Is it in the valley? What's this, or is on the side of a mountain, or so just all those are to be filled. And then the land use system, whether it is a cultivated area, it's an undisturbed forest area, whatever it is, you put it there. Then the tree number, all the trees to be enumerated will be numbered. So you have the numbers, then the names of the trees, that the species names, and then the DBH, all the things you have here will depend on the kind of inventory you want to do. So this is not casting iron or something. You have to decide on what are the variables you need, and those are the things you will put here under this. So, so with that kind of form, the team goes to the field and they carry out the measurement and come back with results. So that's very, very important. So you need to also specify, as part of the inventory planning process, the data analysis procedure to be used. You need to indicate the data compilation process, including data screening and cleaning. That need to be specified during the planning process. And then you should specify the tools you will use for the data analysis. What's the software to use? What are the kind of analysis to be done and estimates to be computed? And finally, you must prepare an outline of the final report. Yes, you prepare this as an outline now. Indicate the number of copies and the deadline for submission and who is to do what, because it may be a kind of teamwork whereby different people are to be responsible for different aspects of the report. Somebody to write the introduction, or this person is to write the methodology. When is the person supposed to submit the draft? All those things will be indicated on the outline. And then you include information on storage and plans for updating the inventory. So these are the various things you consider when planning for a forest inventory exercise. This is very, very important. So please check out my other videos on forest inventory. There are still videos I have on forest inventory exercise, and you can check them out on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and comment on this video. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye.